Hello and welcome to Living History UK. Today we've got something rather special to show you. It's this, a Canadian lifeboat and raft emergency ration tin. Looking at the front of the tin, it reads food container, contents, 12 biscuit ration, 2 chocolate ration, 12 milk chocolate tablet ration. And it says this is concentrated food and should be eaten slowly. It's processed by W. Clark Limited from Montreal in Canada. RCN, Royal Canadian Navy, GSW 1945. The overall weight of the tin with contents before opening is 252 grams. The tin measures 9.5 centimetres in length. The width of the tin is 6.6 centimetres and the depth is 4.4 centimetres. So when would the ration be utilised? These ration tins would be found in containers. So they were used by the Royal Canadian Navy, and inside those containers, which you can see here, you will see that they also had tins of water or conserve as well. These tins will be found on Royal Canadian Navy ships. If the worst was to happen and you had to abandon ship, you'd find the nearest lifeboat or raft, and contained on them would be the containers which indeed had inside them these tins. Similar to the emergency ration carried by British troops and indeed Canadian troops too, their emergency ration, this fulfills the same principle. It's there to keep morale up. It's not there to provide the sort of calories you need for a day-to-day basis. You're looking approximately 700 calories out of this tin. So it's enough to get you through one day, maybe 2 days if you're lucky. Looking at the tin, you can see a gold lacquer. Now that is a weatherproofing measure. Of course, these tins were being carried at sea, where rust forms very, very quickly. So the tins and the foodstuffs inside, of course, need to be kept in as good order as you can. And looking around these upper and lower bands of the tin, you can see the solder marks on there, and you can also see the sort of perforation, for want of a better expression, which is where the key is going to be wound around the can. We can see the key is in untouched condition, as it was back in 1945, and just beneath that, you can see a little code as well. So it's a manufacturer's code by the look of it. So could potentially be G2845 or maybe even 46 by the look of it. I'll go with 45 on that one. It does amaze me just how small these tins are. Holding it in my hand gives you a bit of an idea. I'm not a giant or anything like that, but these are very, very small ration tins. These would fit in a sort of blouse pocket or just a trouser pocket. So let's get on and take a look at what's inside. Whilst researching this wonderful piece of history, I came across a brilliant resource courtesy of the Canadian War Museum. It is a PDF file which specifically looks at the lifeboat ration tin and includes some ace facts. For instance, the chocolate inside the tin was made to withstand temperatures up to 100 degrees Celsius so that during the sterilisation process the chocolate would not melt. These rations were developed due to the high attrition rates experienced during the Battle of the Atlantic. It was becoming all too regular for convoys to be attacked by the wolf packs in the Atlantic, and frequently men would have to abandon ship, seeing them spend days or in some cases weeks in lifeboats at sea. The turning point of the Battle of the Atlantic came in January 1942, when the Western Approaches Tactical Unit was formed at Western Approaches in Liverpool. Here, a team headed up by Captain Gilbert Roberts set about identifying how best to combat U-boats in the Atlantic, which led to game-changing tactics such as raspberry, banana and pineapple. It was due to this work that the Battle of the Atlantic was won, and it may also just explain why so many of these late World War II Navy rations survive today. The smell coming from that tin is so sweet. It smells almost like when you melt chocolate down. It's, God, it smells lovely. Right then, so there we go. That's the outside of the tin with it all undone. Let's try and prise this apart. And that is in absolutely pristine condition. There's no soiling at all of any of the items. So let's take them out and arrange them, see what we've got. concentrated food, eaten slowly. Processed by Dominion Packaging Limited, Montreal in Canada. So these are the chocolate tablets. We can see there's a little bit of a hole there where it's being perforated by something. But on the whole, in good condition. Nice waxed paper as well. Pop that to one side. We've got some biscuits. So these are the ration biscuits. Again in a wax paper with foil. I'll sort of slide this off by the look of it. That's quite nice. So we can slide that off. Cool. And again, in really, really nice condition. Doesn't look like it's been compromised either, which is quite nice. Another 6 chocolate tablets, again, Dominion Packaging Limited, concentrated food. So this is much like the British 24-hour ration and the emergency chocolate ration. It's concentrated food, so eat it slow. In some cases dehydrated as well, so you want to drink plenty of water with it and chew it slowly. Look at the condition of the tin inside is like the day it was made. It's insane. Right, let's have a look at what else is in this. We've got two more items. So there we go. We talked about this earlier, the lifeboat and raft ration. So these were used by the Royal Canadian Navy, and these are in beautiful condition. Whew. Almost like the day they were made. Wow. So let's take a closer look at that. So your lifeboat and raft ration, this is in like a waxed paper. And then we've got nice foil there as well. The smell coming from this is so sweet, so rich. And then on the rear, this chocolate will soften when the heat is excessive, and on cooling down it may have a white surface. The whiteness does not affect the eating quality of the chocolate and still retains its full food value. Product of Fry Cadbury Limited, Montreal. That's absolutely stunning. So let's see what we've got here. We'll just push the lid down on that. And again, the packaging hasn't been compromised by the look of it. It's in lovely condition. The condition of this ration is astounding. I mean, just look, there's no compromising of any of the packaging bar that. There's no leakage at all. The inside of the container is almost pristine. Amazing. So let's put a few of these items to one side, and we're going to open up each item and take a closer look, starting with these. So seeing as this one has already got a bit of a hole in, we'll open that one and put this to one side and leave it as it is. So let's just see how we're going to open this. So be as careful with the packaging as we can. Okay, so we've got you can see the blooming on there. Right, let's take one out and have a look. We'll cut one in half and have a little look at it. They're very hard. So you can see the chocolate is quite fibrous. Doesn't look too bad. I don't think I'm going to give that a go. But if you're on a lifeboat at sea, it wouldn't be too bad. Okay, so we've got 2 chocolate bars. One of them does have packaging which seems to have already been sort of compromised around the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that one. So we'll put that to one side and we'll give this a little bit of an open. That is in astounding condition. So it's all in one piece. You can see a bit of blooming on it, but there's nothing wrong with that at all. So this is high calorie chocolate, much like the British emergency chocolate ration. Contrary to popular belief it doesn't have any drugs or anything in it. This is high fat, high cocoa content chocolate. So let's cut it down the middle and have a look inside. So it's quite crumbly. You can see where the layers are in the chocolate, but that does not look too bad at all. It's quite tempting to give it a whirl. Awesome. So we'll pop that to one side and wrap it back up later. And the last item we've got are these, the ration biscuits. So I believe we've got 12 of these. So we could slide this wrapper off, which is quite nice. So we'll pop that to one side and we'll open this up. And the packaging is still sealed. It's almost like the day it was made. So we can just see in there that the biscuits, a couple of them are broken. So we're going to be careful how we open this up. So, there we go. So we'll take one that's, so some of them are stuck together. We can see they almost look a bit like shortbread. There we go, very careful with this. They almost look like shortbread, they look kind of very dry hardtack. But, that's still in edible condition. If the proverbial hit the fan, you'd be able to use that. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's only a couple of the biscuits have broken. We're just going to leave them together. I'm going to send this on to a friend of mine who's very much into Canadian rations and Canadian foodstuffs and so forth. So I'm going to keep them for him. And there we go, the lifeboat and raft ration from the Royal Canadian Navy, dated 1945. A fascinating insight into the past. I am going to stop short of actually trying these rations for myself. They don't look very appealing. And after reading veterans' accounts, they weren't very nice either. Would you try them? Let us know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, why not join our members club? You can join from just £1. The link's in the description of this video. Don't forget to subscribe to Living History UK here on YouTube, and do feel free to share this video with anyone who's interested in military history. All it leaves me to say is until next time, keep history alive.